is not preferred. Alright, this is checking the levels. This is roughly how loud I talk.
And this is how loud I talk. Is it coming in good enough?
Yeah, surprisingly loud for John Forward.
Yeah, I don't talk loud, but my voice resonates into microphones for some reason.
And mine doesn't, so I usually have to project louder for some reason than normal people do.
Alright.
Even with a microphone.
Yeah, if on the odd time I've had to do a comedy show with no microphone, this level does not work.
Right. And my normal level without a with a microphone isn't the greatest. So
yeah.
I tend to hold the mic closer to my face than most other comics when we're doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I'm not really conscious of it. I think it's fairly close for me. I'm right on top of it when I'm doing the radio show.
Yeah. I'm just making sure the numbers are moving. Which they are.
Excellent.
So,
it's always good when the numbers move.
Oh, dig moving numbers, y'all.
Stationary numbers, not so good.
No, what do you think of a 7? You want one of those?
That's a lucky number.
It's pretty...
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Some people do believe that. What about a 3? We're moving numbers, is what I'm saying.
A 3 is the minimum amount to establish a pattern. Mm-hmm. So that's good. Or to break a pattern, I guess.
Right, and it's also a long told folk tour that 3 is the magic number.
What does that mean?
It's never really been explained.
Okay.
And then
you
there's
said
also
a folk tour? What do you mean by that?
Folklore.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I thought you meant like a tour of like a folk man playing guitar.
If I said tour, I was definitely speaking out of turn.
Probably that cold that I didn't ask for.
Right, so I'll try not to give you my cold. I have a bit of one. Sorry, audience. Sorry, John. I got John Forward, though, also. I have a cold and St. John Forward.
You're infested with John Forward right now.
Yeah, I've come down with a little John Forward.
Yep.
So
Is that a short joke?
Yeah, it's a short joke. It didn't last very long. I'm Steve Fudge, your host. Welcome to Sanitary Handshake, John Forward.
I don't think a handshake would be very sanitary.
Well, let me show you how it works. This is the Sanitary Handshake.
Okay. And I had a good time on the toilet before the podcast. I did wash my hands in the ice cold, freezing water in the sink.
Good. Yeah, you want really cold water when you're washing your hands.
Yeah, I think normally you want hot water to kill the germs, but I think it was cold enough that also killed them.
Yeah, I think. Or at least keeps them dormant long enough for you to get home and wash your hands again.
Unless there's some Arctic germs on vacation in St. John, in which case they loved it and multiplied a lot.
Yeah, and I can't rule that out as a possibility. That might actually be a thing. I just noticed the texture on the wall. I had to touch it on the vagina wall.
Yeah. That's wallpaper.
Yeah.
It's not
like
painted.
Cobra vagina. It's classy. I like it.
Yeah, it's true. I like it too.
It's very inclusive.
It's just one wall. One wall's got vaginas. One has some gross orange shag carpet on the wall.
Yeah, and then we've got wood paneling.
More wood paneling. And what's that garage door go to?
It goes to the living room. This is the rumpus room.
Okay. What used to be... Is this where... Was Darcy Farrow's in here?
Yes, at one point Darcy Farrow's was from this door over here to the rest of the street where Studio 112 used to be.
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to picture it. The Maritime Bar Directions tour.
Yeah, it's one of those things. This was a lot of different places. It was a Scores for a bit until they were sued by the other chain restaurant called Scores.
I've never heard of either version.
Oh, okay. Well, they had chicken wings and sports on the TVs.
Yeah, I think Darcy Farrow's was the last time that was there any... What was in between Darcy Farrow's and the Barcade?
There was a very posh restaurant that served like expensive lamb and such, and myself washing the dishes.
Yeah, what was that called?
Sebastian's.
Never been.
And before that, even, it was a Mexicali Roses for a bit.
Okay, yeah. I remember what? No, wasn't that? I thought that was on Prince William Street. Or
It
did
was,
move?
and then they moved.
Okay.
And then they had
May
this
have
one for
been
a
to
bit.
that one for some watery bland salsa,
Or Margarita Mondays.
possibly. But,
They had to flip the coin thing for a little bit. That was fun.
What was that?
You could you go buy a drink, and instead of paying for the drink, you flip a coin, and you call it in the air. And if you were right, you don't pay for it.
Did you have to pay double if you were wrong?
No, you just had to pay for it.
Oh, that would have been more of a gamble.
Yeah,
It would have been more exciting.
I think so too. I think that it would have got the blood pumping a little bit.
Yeah, and you could have made some more money counting on that gambler rush. That might be like a legal thing. You might have to get licensed for. I don't know. It's not a VLT coin lottery machine.
No, it certainly was not. Atlantic Lottery did not get any of that pool,
No.
to my knowledge.
So here we are recording a podcast in the loudest bar in St. John.
Yeah, could
But-
you say it's the loudest?
Right now is not bad. The door's closed. Coming here on a later night on a weekend, I kind of hate it because it is very loud.
Yes, it is very loud here on the weekends. We're at 83 Bar Arcade. It's one of my favorite places to come when it's not super busy. But on the weekends and later in the evening especially, it's very busy. And
Yeah,
very loud.
so it's kind of the best of all worlds. You can't move or talk, and I like the idea of the barcade. I like video games, but video games and drinking require hands, so that's always been
Yeah.
kind of a complicated. There isn't a lot of one-handed games here.
Well, there's a few. There's Pac-Man and Frogger are both
Okay.
very good one-handed drinking
Yeah, I suppose.
arcade game.
Tapper's not bad.
Tapper's got that ledge to put your drink on, which is
Yeah.
good. And also, many of the machines, as well as the pinball machines, have now a cup holder on the side of them.
Yeah, well, and with pinball, there's natural breaks in the action. The more video-based games, they don't have a pause button.
Yeah, but some of them you just got to plan your
Yeah.
timing right, like in between boards and such.
But I think
And
Tapper
games.
is my most successful. I think that is the only one that I've ever... I think I was number one on the high scores one night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then you were later beat by my friend June.
Do they reset them like every night, or how often does... Or is it, do they
The
just
machines
stay?
themselves, some of them keep the high score and some of them reset, and that's why they put the scoreboard out a marquee above the bar,
Right.
which is currently broken.
Good enough.
Yeah, it's
Well,
unfortunate.
it's one
What
thing
are you gonna do?
for a broken marquee at a bar, but this is unrelated. But I frequent the Royal Bank in the McAllister Mall for work.
Do you get high scores on that one?
Well, no, but they have a broken marquee, and it's a bank. They have like three TVs that have like advertisements that's kind of spread across the three of them, and one of the screens has been defective for, it seems like, 4 months now.
Oh, that's no good. Unacceptable.
And it's a bank, and I don't know why they still have the other two turned on. If it was just a dark set of TVs, then that would be less objectionable than 2/3 of a Royal Bank ad.
Well, come on, Royal Bank, get off your wallet.
I know. Get the Queen to send you some money. You already have all of the money. Fix the TV. I don't know what the problem
or
is.
make the money that you can use to pay for it, like you do with loans.
I would assume that Royal Bank is pulling in more profit than the Barcade, so I'll give the Barcade a bit more latitude.
I will as well. Also, because the marquee here is not controlled by them; it's controlled by that Vegas place across town on the other side.
Okay. Just the marquee, or
Just the marquee. They basically rent it from them.
Okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're patched in to the Vegas.
Also, this is a whole online thing.
It's an online scoring system.
Okay, so
Marquee
how
board.
do these old video game cabinets communicate with modern technologies to transmit their leaderboards
Well, they
to
don't
Vegas
because,
and then back here.
Because, as we all know, the prime operative always gets changed to killing all humans.
Right.
So they've disabled that function, and in place, humans have to
go around with
tell
a
the
notebook,
computer what the score
write
is.
down what the score is. Okay, so it's not an immediate, like, I got a high score, I'm going to turn around and see it on the marquee.
No,
Oh,
you gotta
okay.
you gotta take a photo of it and go show the bartender.
Oh, well, I didn't do that. I think it's on my Instagram. I should just pretend like I just got it then. They're not going to know the difference.
Yeah, it might have been beaten though by now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Or
Although
maybe
if
it
that
was
one doesn't
spectacular.
reset, it would still be there. So I don't know. Barcade, if you're listening, the robot that runs everything, look at my Instagram, johnforward.com, spelled out DOT.
Department of Transportation.
Yes, John Forward, Department of Transportation, com.
I like it.
Yeah, it's very catchy.
It reminds me of driving.
I don't know why I took that. Somebody else must have John Forward at Instagram. I haven't gone back to look at it and see what.
It wasn't just to
Motherfucker
subliminally implant your website into the name.
No, that was. It would have just been John Forward, but I was forced to do johnforward.com, or I could have gone like John Forward 69. That would have been a classic.
Possibly also taken.
I don't know. I can't imagine there's that
Your
many.
your
John
spam
Forwards.
account.
Well, that's the one that's exclusively POV shots of me getting 69.
Yeah, mine is.
That's kind of a hard POV shot to take, but
it's in the name.
I've got a rig, and you'll have to check out the feed to see how that works.
Right, my spam account is just me with cans of spam.
Okay, that's a good one.
You're kicking it old school, Python-esque. So, good segue into your website and the fact that your website is based on a lot of what you do, which a lot of what you do is comedy.
Yeah,
And
I
comedy
don't
related.
update the website very often. I should. I've got it set up so that the podcast automatically updates itself. There's a little code that I put in there that ties in.
It's a group of nanobots.
Yeah. I need to figure out how to have my Facebook events automatically published on the website. That would keep the website running autonomously, and then it would take over.
Do you code? Do you know how to do that?
No, but the Podbean site has you can set it up and it gives you the code and you just copy and paste.
Oh, okay.
You just embed the I forget what it's called.
RSS feed?
No,
Something different?
something like that. Like you can on the Podbean site you can change the parameters, like what color the player is and how big it is and how many back episodes you want to show on the scroll.
Well, I want orange.
Well, I'll have to take a look at that and see what it is. Instagram goes up on there automatically. Twitter, that I never use, goes up there automatically.
Yeah, how come you don't use Twitter? It's like all
Because
the
nobody
rage.
reads it.
What?
The occasional time I'll sign in 6 months later and see that you had added me on something, but pretty much you
Yeah,
are
I do
the
that.
only one.
I'm the Highlander of our Twitter community.
I used to, I got in early, but it hasn't really caught on in New Brunswick.
What's your
people
Twitter
aren't-
account called?
John Forward.
At John Forward?
Yes. I used to use it I have a bunch of comedians followed, and if I was bored, I'd bring it up, and it would just be a scroll of jokes, but now all it is complaining about Trump, and it's kind of depressing, and I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of complaints about Trump. I mean,
the man is a genius. What's the problem?
I just feel like he's no good for comedy because everything he does is funny in some sort of way. Anyway.
Nobody has anything interesting to say, and I don't know. It's just so much.
Yeah, it's saturated.
It's the airplane food joke of the 2010s.
I agree.
It's been done. Get some new shit.
Overdone. Change topics.
Right.
So cool. So you're
comedian,
John
showrunner.
Jon Forward.
That's right.
Like the guy from Garfield, John, not John.
Was he Jon?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
I don't know about that. I'm going to challenge you on that. John Arbuckle, I thought was an H.
But I'm so very positive.
Okay.
Should we fact check? We can fact check.
I'm going to fact check.
We've got let's race then. Okay. We're neck and neck here.
You've already got yours.
We've got our
Mine's
Google
not even
devices.
on yet.
I'm already typing in John Arbuckle, and I'm getting a hit. John Arbuckle, Jon, fictional character from Garfield.
Well, how about that?
Bam.
It's short for Jonathan. Who'd have thought? Well, I assume that's usually what the JONs are.
Indeed.
I thought it was a self-contained, non-abbreviated John. So, my mistake. Whoever the creator of Garfield is.
That would be Jim Davis.
Okay, then.
Jim, Jim, not Jim.
Okay, fair enough. Or
Right.
GYM.
Right, not that one either.
Do you think there's a millennial kid named Jim GYM? Probably. They've learned how to misspell all of the names.
Very most likely at this point, yes. Almost every name has 18 different spellings now.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to figure out the strangest way to spell John, and
It's probably like YOX.
I need to get a curly mustache, suspenders. What else do I need to complete my...
I think a bolo tie.
I'm like halfway to hipster.
The way to
I'm
go.
not a full-on, but I've got a beard already, so...
Suspenders.
Maybe if I do, I'll instead of a curly mustache, I'll do like the curly chin. I'll have like little horns come out.
Oh, okay.
That'll be pioneering.
I can envision that.
Yeah. Dyed green, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's a work in progress.
I like it. I think it's a great idea. I apologize for my voice and all the throat clearing, but
I'll open johnforward.com.
So
I'll become an Instagram influencer, and people will pay me money to take a picture with their product.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Influence everybody. I'm not good at hashtags though, because I don't really care.
Hashtag shows.
I should, but I don't know. I'm not posting on it enough that I want anybody that doesn't follow me to see it, or I don't think anybody would care.
I think hashtags are only really useful if you want other people to use your hashtag.
Yeah, it's good.
And then
if
you've
you
got
want...
to promote it in a different way. Like if you're having a contest, like, hey, if you go to Twitter and use this hashtag, then you could win a prize or some shit like that.
Yeah, I posted a picture of my cat without a single hashtag, and my wife shook her head at me, but I don't want cat people to follow me. That's just a bonus for the John Forward people.
But the problem is, if you type in a hashtag, I've seen a lot of people do this, they'll go hashtag and then have a full sentence.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
But then in order for anybody to have used that hashtag and connect with you because of the hashtag, they would have had to have typed that same exact whole sentence in.
Yeah. That's not... I use the No Jokes Barred hashtag, but that's just so if you can get them... But, like, some random person doesn't give a shit about a picture of Steve Fudge on stage at the R Bar.
But they should. And if they want to see that picture, they can go to Twitter and type in hashtag No Jokes Barred.
Yeah. I think I'm the only one that uses... There's a couple...
We successfully hashtagged.
I think all of the No Jokes Barred stuff was posted by me. I think there is a couple of just random other things that are unrelated that somebody had used that hashtag.
Yeah.
The legal team is on it. But aside from that, I think it's just me. But anyway, if anybody wants to see
if you're
a bunch of show posters
couple of
and
mirrors, so you're a team.
People holding microphones, then No Jokes Barred is the hashtag for you.
I think that's great. So let's speak about that then. John Forward runs No Jokes Barred, as you can imagine from what we just spoke of. What is going on with No Jokes Barred? It used to be held once a month at the R Bar in St. John, New Brunswick, and then No Jokes Barred Deluxe once a month at O'Leary's. What's going on now?
Both of those
changes.
have changed. Well, No Jokes Barred at the R Bar was less popular than Old Crackers singing karaoke, so we were vacated from that premises.
Covering Uncle Cracker, some of them.
I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not necessarily mad at the people involved. But, we had a good run. It was 4.5 years. And, attendance had been dropping off. I'm not sure if it's due to the quality or lack thereof of the show, or quality or lack thereof of the venue, or some combination of the two. We had to tango with lots of drunk/mentally ill regulars.
And tango we did.
Yeah, which is fun for the comedians, but I don't think probably as much for the audience. Maybe every now and then. But
that location was like the getting your first job at McDonald's version of doing open mic stand-up. Like, if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing that I'm gonna miss, because it was a tough but fair room. Like, if you I don't know. I think anything that wins over that audience is probably solid. Although now that I think about it, less. So I've seen some misguided people do something super offensive that goes over great at the R Bar, and then they try to do it on a show where like people are eating their dinner and have paid money for, and it does not go well.
Oh, I see. I've always enjoyed doing R Bar. I've had some wins and losses myself there. A lot of fun.
Oh, me too. I've eaten it many a times at the R Bar, probably more than anybody. But that's how you get stronger. But
I felt like it was a great place for that to grow stronger faster by doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Location particularly, because it was more challenging than most other audiences. Either pay attention to you or don't pay attention to you. But this one, you're almost certainly going to get hecklers.
Yeah, and when that show was, when we had a hot audience, those were some of the best shows I've ever done.
I agree.
There's also been some depressing shows where there's 10 mildly interested people. And
that should bring us to the show that we're going to do together this week.
Yeah, it used to be No Jokes Barred Deluxe. It has since turned into Uptown Comedy Deluxe. Which, honestly, it was when Yuck Yucks closed, I figured I would trick some dummies into coming out.
So come on out, dummies.
But I also didn't necessarily mean for it to be called No Jokes Barred to begin with. I just couldn't think of anything else to call it. I wanted to call it something different, but I couldn't think of anything.
So you didn't even have an alternate thing and then choose differently?
Well, I called it No Jokes Barred Deluxe, which...
you mean the second one, not the...
No Jokes Barred was always
original one.
No Jokes Barred, but
okay.
the O'Leary's one.
I've always had the feeling that most of what you do is in one way or another a fuck you to somebody in some way.
Well, No Jokes Barred was, and that's been discussed.
The title of the show.
Yeah, I just
much in
got
the way
furious with jokes being barred left and right.
Right, you don't want
something had to be done. But
I'm also referencing like when R Bar decided you're not doing comedy there anymore. You kind of went, "Fuck you! I'll do it in your parking lot."
Yeah,
sort of.
Well, that's not entirely the case. I was aware that was how it was going to be perceived, and I was okay with that perception. I just thought, well, Adam Landry was on St. John Forward Radio and kind of half-jokingly said, we should do one in the parking lot there, and I liked the idea. And if you're going to do a comedy show in a parking lot, that's probably the best one to do it in. It happens to be the parking lot attached to the R Bar.
Yeah, it made me laugh.
But to be fair, we didn't do the parking lot directly outside of their back door. I would be surprised if anybody that was in there even know that it was going on.
Yeah, it doesn't make you in any less of a rebel. Anyway.
I didn't want to antagonize them, but I was okay with the idea of people thinking that I was antagonizing them. It was the best of both worlds. If anybody got mad, I could have just played dumb. But fortunately, there was no trouble.
That's
Part of me was also sort of hoping that the police would come and shut it down, which would have been a good story. But it went off without a hitch. Generally, it was a fun show. It was in November, and it wasn't as cold as it could have been in November. So
Yeah, that's lucky.
didn't have a huge turnout, but we got it on film. So the legend lives on YouTube. You can watch that. No Jokes Barred in a parking lot.
Type those words into the YouTube.
And from there, the owner of Foundations actually saw the parking lot post and reached out to me and said that they have something booked that specific night, but anytime we want to do a show there, they would open it up for us, which I appreciated. Ian Esty had done a couple of shows there. I thought that it was closed.
I thought they were as well, because they used to use the street entrance. But now they use like the around the back.
Yeah, well, over the summer,
entrance.
It was only the back entrance. And I think Ian put on 2 or 3 shows there over the summer. But then it was supposed to be a monthly thing, but then they closed down. But now it's not open by default. I think they still have paid up the liquor license for the year, so they will open up if there's a special event going on. And No Jokes Barred is the specialist of events. So, did one show there in December.
I was a part of that one. I had fun.
It was a fun show. Not a great turnout.
No, but the audience that was there liked it, appreciated it, and one of them was quite hilarious.
Yeah.
And did a set herself.
Yeah, Michelle Petit. She'd done a show at Chuckles. I saw it before that. So I knew what to expect, and she did great. And it was all different stuff than what she did when I saw her last time.
Oh, that's good too.
But yeah, it was kind of the usual dozen people that would have been at the R Bar, which kind of led to the problem to begin with, plus maybe 5 other Foundations people. So not ideal. I really liked the bar, and they were kind enough to let us be there, and it's a nice setup, but it does not have street access, and nobody knows where it is. You can't. It's not even on Google Maps.
Let's get to where you are instead of where you ain't.
Well, we
Unless you want to talk about that show some more. It was a good
yeah,
show.
it was fun, but it's going to always be hard to get people to go there because nobody knows where it is. We also did a show at Taco Pica, which was very successful. We had a packed house, and it was fun. But still didn't want to settle down because I knew I wanted to try out McGill's. I felt from the beginning, I think that was kind of... I thought it was going to be a good option. I wanted to at least give it a try before I decided on anything else.
Yeah, had it on your radar.
Yeah, which I wouldn't have gone there because Brian Godso and John Scove Nielsen already currently have a twice a month Sunday After Dark show there, but Brian actually suggested to me that the owner had mentioned Saturday nights aren't super busy there, so they might be open for doing something. And so with Godso's blessing, he was supposed to make the introduction with me and the owner, but he dragged his ass for several months, so I talked to him myself and set it up. We did a trial run a couple of weeks ago on February 16th, and it was a banger. It was even better than the Taco Pica show, and I decided it was time for old No Jokes Barred to settle down. Reached out to the owner, and he's good with doing it monthly, 3rd Saturday of the month, and that's where it's going to be. I figured like Taco Pica was good, but that's another one where there's always the potential for confused people eating their dinner late and having a show break out around them, which is never ideal circumstances.
Yeah, well, luckily McGill's isn't actually a food place. People can order food there, but it's from next door.
Yeah, and there's usually hardly anybody in there until Dance Party USA starts at 11 or 11:30 or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody that we bring to the show is going to be bonus. So there's very little chance of us scaring away more people than we're bringing in. So, and it's on the boardwalk, and there's lots of foot traffic there. People walking by. Not necessarily the case at Taco Pica.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not at Foundations. It was a great show. So that's where we're gonna be. Are the numbers still moving?
Yeah.
And so third Saturday of the month at McGill's. The next one is going to be on March 16th, which is de facto St. Patrick's Day, which may be messy, but whatever. We'll give it a go. But
Cool.
Uptown Comedy Deluxe is also, aside from the name change, we've also, I think, December or maybe it was January, had the start time changed from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., which traditional comedy rule book is that's too late to start a comedy show. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I'd rather start late than have it overlap with loud music going on downstairs. And
is that the case this weekend as well then?
Yes.
So it starts at 10?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been telling people 9.
Well, then they can get there and be drunker when the show starts.
Yes, they can, because I'm not correcting myself.
Yeah. But the 10 o'clock start time has actually improved the attendance. There's just more people out and about and at the bar.
That's true. There is a thing around this area at least. I don't know what it's like in other towns, but it's a big thing around here. It's hard to get people out before 10 or 11, even if they plan to go to the thing.
Yeah, so we've the attendance at the O'Leary's show before the change was kind of sporadic. I was actually surprised that the R Bar got canceled. I would have been expecting it more from the O'Leary's show, just because the attendance have been kind of dismal, to be honest. But since we've moved to 10 o'clock, it's been much better. We've had a full room sometimes. Not always very comedy savvy audiences. Lots of drunk people that are already at O'Leary's, but there's been a couple of R Bar-esque nights. Brian Godso was shown somebody's butthole once.
Oh.
He had gone up to go to the bathroom, and Brian asked him if he wiped well, and he proved it.
Oh.
So,
Had he wiped well?
I assume so.
I'm kind of glad.
You'd have to ask Brian.
I'm glad
he
I
was
missed that
he
one.
was faced away from the rest of the audience, so Brian's the only one that was privy to that. But But yeah, we've got a show coming up this Friday, March 1st, and so I'm gonna host that one. We've got John Scove Nielsen and Steve Fudge here doing the middle spots.
Yeah,
and
I'll do a thing.
Brian Giles, the Reverend, is coming up from Maine to close that one out.
From Calais, Maine.
So that should be
international
should be a fun show.
headliner.
That's right. We bring in all the international headliners that are named Brian Giles and live
From
an hour
Calais,
away.
Maine, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to that show. It should be fun.
I'm looking John forward to that show.
Well, I am by default, so I don't need to say it.
Right. I just
yeah.
thought I'd feed you the extra plug there.
Well, thank you. But the O'Leary show is it has deluxe in the title, so you know. It's a different thing. No Jokes Barred is more of an open mic. It's not a show up and go up type open mic. We book it ahead of time, but that's the one where I never say no to anybody. There have been a couple of no's for O'Leary's. It's a bit more of a curated thing.
More polished sets.
Yeah.
Rather than trying out new material.
In theory, hasn't always been.
Right.
But I would prefer people. I'm not going to tell anybody that they're not allowed to do new material, but I kind of that one. My vision of it was to give people a chance to do longer sets and to the stuff that they've been working on at No Jokes Barred or Sunday After Dark or whatever other open mics are going on. Then this is a chance to
more of a showcase.
There's never a finished product, but slightly more along the way. But I do it every month, so if I have new stuff, then I'll throw it out to varying degrees of success. But I think it's a good opportunity for people to try out stuff that's a bit more further in the process and just see how it goes, especially when there's a good audience there.
Yeah, that is key. So people come out to the show, make the shows. You help the show keep happening.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The comedians are obviously a big part of the show, but we can't just do the show to an empty room. The better the audience, the better the show is going to be. So that means a good turnout makes for a better show, and the people that are there, if they're doing their job as an audience and not blabbing away at their tables or screwing around on their cell phones, the more people are engaged with the show and having a good time and laughing. You don't need to fake it, but that's the thing. Not at any of the shows that I put on, but there have been shows where the audience is just garbage, and they walk away from the show thinking this was a garbage show, but sometimes they're the ones that have created the garbage. That same show, I don't know. Sometimes people are having a conversation for the entire time, and when you tell them to shut up, they're kind of like, well, it's not funny. I'm like, well, how would you know? Because you haven't... You're checking in for 2 seconds here.
Clearly weren't listening, so
yeah,
you really can't have the opinion on that one.
Yeah, and
talking through the whole show, it's rude.
Yeah, and being a bad audience member makes the show worse, and and it's not completely the audience's fault. A good comedian can turn it around for any room. For any group of people, in theory, but
in theory,
we're all.
I don't know
still,
if that's empirically true either.
Regardless of deluxe being in the title, we are still all amateurs. When there's a professional in town passing through, then I would invite them to be on the show too. But for the most part, it's still an amateur show, and some of us have better chops than others, but we're still pretty small potatoes in the grand scheme of things. So
we're fast growing potatoes.
Yeah, so we need a good audience more than anybody. So
come be the soil.
So what I'm saying is, it's never our fault when we bomb.
I wish that was true. It's not. But I'm looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to seeing Brian Giles this weekend.
Yeah.
I got a nice warm couch for him if he needs it.
I do as well. We'll have to fight for him.
Yeah, we can do that.
Or we can split it up. He's staying on Saturday too. We're going up to do Hell's Basement.
Oh, nice.
Saturday.
Good.
Back to back.
I love Hell's Basement.
Yeah. I was actually I was originally going to book the same lineup for Friday and Saturday. I got Matt Richardson to do Hell's Basement on Saturday, but he wasn't available for the Friday. So you're filling in the Matt Richardson role in St. John.
Oh, okay. I'll talk louder.
Yeah, you need to sweat a lot. You need to rub the top of your head and your belly.
Okay, and I need to remember all his jokes now.
Yeah. Well,
I'll do my stuff instead.
Well, I guess that's not really what I had in mind for you, Steve. I was hoping for your best Matt Richardson impression.
Well, maybe we'll see. Show up and we'll find out.
All right. So
you want to call it here? What else do you got? Do you got anything else coming up? Plugs? Let's do some plugs.
Just No Jokes Barred, St. John Forward Radios every Monday 9 to 10 on local 107.3 FM here in St. John, or the podcast version comes out on Wednesdays, which you can find on johnforward.com, or you can look at the whole. That's the easiest way to get to it. You can click on the link if you want the whole back catalog.
Yeah, and we can find you on Facebook. We can find No Jokes Barred on Facebook.
Yeah, there's a No Jokes Barred group. You get all the event invites. I've got a John Forward comedy page and John Forward regular Facebook thing, but I don't know.
This is how I find your shows. I usually type No Jokes Barred in the search, and then it tells me when the next show is.
Well, there's a group. If you were a member of the group, you'd get an invitation automatically for every time I make one.
Yeah,
But,
I also get those, but sometimes I forget the date, and instead of looking through my
First
events...
Friday of the month and third Saturday of the month, Steve.
I'm busy memorizing comedy
You
bits
need
that I
to
wrote.
take a knife and carve it into your arm.
But I don't want to do that.
Fair enough. Anybody that does carve first Friday, third Saturday into your arms with a knife, you get into every show on me. Especially the pay what you can one.
Especially that one.
I will pay your $7 cover at O'Leary's, though.
Right,
If you're going to mutilate yourself.
So at O'Leary's, March the 1st, it's $7 cover. That gets you into the whole bar for the rest of the night, so you can go downstairs and listen to a live band or DJ or whatever they have on.
There's usually a one or a two person musical thing that's on the main room until the show starts at 10. I'm not sure what time they start. 7 or 8.
There's often an acoustic thing or something. Sometimes it's a small band.
The comedy show
In the upper room
starts at 10, goes until like 11:30 or so. There's a more full-fledged band going on in the back room that starts at 10:30ish, but you're going to want to stick around for the comedy show, and then you can go down there and see some middle-aged office workers busting a groove.
Yeah, you can. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
What else can we plug for you?
Oh, that's it.
Hell's Basement.
Hell's Basement,
the day
Moncton
after.
on Saturday, March 2nd. Me and Matt Richardson, John Scove Nielsen, and Brian Giles again, if you're in Moncton. And that's it. I don't think I've got anything else lined up. I'm the only one booking myself these days.
Aha.
Well, I've got one tomorrow, but this isn't going to be out by then.
No, probably not.
No, I will have been at the Abbey in Fredericton on Wednesday.
No, this might be a last-minute day before
Well,
podcast.
Well, No Jokes Barred and Uptown Comedy Deluxe will be forever.
Yeah, so since it's a continuous thing, I'll try to get this out before the shows, and that'll be good. So I will make the attempt. I apologize if you're hearing it afterwards.
Well, this was so good, you won't even need to edit it.
That's
So
right.
It should come out quick.
Thank you for joining me on Sanitary Handshake, John Forward. Me, myself, Steve Fudge. I have Double Edged Spork podcast on Podbean and iTunes, where myself and Helen Steer go to restaurants and we review them so that you don't have to. And so that's fun. And we're funny sometimes. And sometimes I have a cold.
All right.
What else do I do? I've got another podcast that's just come out on Podbean as well. We might have to change the name though, so maybe I shouldn't even say it. I think we're in a legal battle there.
Sanitary Handshake?
No, the other one. Sanitary Handshake is mine.
Well, what's it called?
Well, it was called Cult Following, but it turns out there is another Cult Following.
Yeah, actually, I tried to search for it on mine, and it came up.
Yeah, so that is with John Scove Nielsen.
Cult Following 69.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. That'd be John Scove Nielsen, Steve Fudge, and Brian Godso talk about movies for about the length of a movie.
There's lots of podcasts that have the same. Has anybody actually reached out, or did you just find that there was another
No, we just
one?
found that there is another one.
I don't think you can copyright a podcast title.
No, but you don't want to be the same name as another podcast.
Yeah, fair enough.
At least
I wonder if there's another St. John Forward Radio out there.
That would be awesome. We should do a search just in case.
Probably not. If there is, then I will fight them.
Because I want to see the fight. That's what I want. I want a public record of some bashing between John Forwards'.
Yeah, well, St. John, that's very specific.
Yeah, St. John Forwards'. Not just John Forwards.
Yeah. Well,
What else have I got
holy
going on?
battle.
I'm doing other stupid shit all the time too. That's
Find
it.
Steve
You can
Fudge on Facebook.
find me
and
on
see what he's
Facebook.
posted.
Find me on Facebook.
And Twitter that he uses. He's the only one.
Oh yeah, I do actually use Twitter. So you can. I'm Steve Fudge 101. Steve Fudge 101 on Twitter. Follow me on that thing. I post things. I post jokes.
We need to have a tag team match against the other John Forward and Steve Fudge.
Yeah, we should do that. I actually found a bunch of other Steve Fudges online. I've never reached
We
out
can
to
do
them.
a rap battle.
But I was trying to sign into something once, and I accidentally put it in the search instead of the sign-in spot.
I keep getting emails from some other John Forward in Florida from his lawyer lately. His email address has like a period in between the John and the Forward, but they still come to me for some reason. It's odd.
That's good. They just like you better.
Probably.
They're like, you're the better John Forward. Can you be part of our team now instead? So again, thank you for joining me. Sorry for my cold. I hope you don't catch it. And you, audience, I hope you don't catch it also. Catch something else.
Catch it all.
All right, catchitall.com. Goodbye.
I pat my back just to pass the time, 'cause I love myself.